This is part one of our division study guide. This will close out our unit for division. And again, as we've stated before, that study guides look exactly like our test. It's just some numbers are switched up. Maybe the stories are slightly different, but the actual skill involved is the same. So when we see on number one here that they just need to draw a model, they're going to have the same thing on number one. It's just a different division equation. So what we're looking for on this one is modeling out how would we pass out 12 among 5 groups. And so if we were going to model that and show our work, they can do boxes, they can do circles or whatnot, but then here they would just count until they got to 12. So we'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and even here I'm going to stop because I know that I only have 2 left. So I can't do another group of 5 in all these boxes. So that means I have this remainder out here outside of the box, outside of my groupings of 2. So the quotient, it says what is that, which is 2. I am going to put in my remainder just so that it shows that I actually know that that would go in 2 times and there would be 2 left over. So that's all we're looking on number one. Again, there will be on the test something like this, and this is exactly what we're looking for. The next one talks about how Emerson brought 28 cookies to class. So if he makes stacks of cookies with 3 cookies in each stack, how many cookies will he have left over? So here, the main thing we want to see on our word problems is we have 28 cookies. We're going to take some notes. If he makes stacks of cookies with 3 cookies, so I'm going to put 3 cookies per stack. How many cookies will he have left over? So I'm just going to put cookies left over. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just as long as I know what I'm looking for. Okay, and then here's where I would show my work. So I know that if I need to put them into stacks of 3, that I'm going to do 28 divided by 3. So I need to know how many times 3 will go into 28. If I count by 3s, I would get up to 27, which is times 9, with a remainder of 1. And they can use that any strategy they want to get to that point. And then on the number 3, just ask, which I'm not even done because of number 3, how they ask the question, how many cookies does he have left over? So this is a situation where we would use the remainder and we would say Emerson has, running out of room, but that's okay, 1 cookie left over. And then they get all their points for this. And keep in mind, like this one's 2 points, the model and then the answer. This one is notes are 1, showing your work is 1, your answer is 1, and then answering in that complete sentence is another. So this is a 4-point question. We have really taught that to the kids quite a bit so that they don't miss out on those points. And then here on how are we going to use it, the options are to add it, use it, or drop it, as we've talked in class about that. And so we would say I used the remainder because our answer was the remainder. So I used the remainder. As my answer. And that's it. The next 2 are the same type thing, just a word problem, same stuff we're looking for, just a different concept or different story to go with it. These on 6, 7, and 8 are going to be looking at dividing numbers, dividing multiples of tens, hundreds, and thousands. So what we've taught the kids, we can't pull 8,000 from 2,000, so we know that 8 won't go into 2. So we're going to actually look at these 2 numbers. So 8 will go into 24 how many times? So I have shown kids, if we even rewrite it, we can say 24 divided by 8 would be 3. So if that's true, then 2,400 or 2,400 divided by 8 would not be 3, it would be 300. So they just need to make sure that they catch those zeros in there, make sure that they're working in the same place value. Another way we've worded it before is 2,400 divided by 8 is 300 because they see that that is taking place within the hundreds place. And then these are the same, finding the quotient based on place value. This one may be a little tricky. There's probably one on the test like it. 5 won't go into 2, but we do need to look at this 20. So they're not going to be able to say, like, this one has 2 zeros, so my answer has 2 zeros. This is one that is a little different when we look at those 2 here, which I guess that more applies to our multiplication problems. But here it's just something that they do put in there to make sure that kids are working with those zeros whenever 5 times 4 is 20. So there's a 0 in there. But we would say 20 divided by 5 is 4, so 2,000 divided by 5 for that one would not be 4,000, which they might be tempted to do because there's 3 zeros there. The second page is these top 2 are estimating quotients. We don't want them to estimate after the answer. We don't want them to work this whole thing out and then estimate. What we want to do is make sure that they're estimating in a way that they can quickly get to an answer using mental math or very simple math on their paper. So I'm looking at multiples of 4, and then I'm going to look at, because I'm not estimating this to 400 because it's not anywhere close. So I'm looking at the 25. So if I counted by 4s here, I would have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28. So I see that 25 lands right between these 2 numbers. And 25 is closest to 24. So I'm going to estimate this to be 240. Now, that number doesn't estimate to 240 normally, but in division, we want easy numbers that we can work with. So 240 divided by 4, 4 will go into 24. 6 times, but we're in the tens place. So it's not 6, it would be 60. And that's what we want on here too. So again, here they would look at those first 2 digits and find that best multiple that would get them to a quick answer. And then these last 4 on the first part of the test is just finding the quotients. It doesn't matter what strategy they use. They may want to multiply to check their answer later on. But they can do long division, area model, they can use partial quotient, they can use box method, whatever their preferred method is after we've taught how to do division on these. And then that's those 4. The next ones will be word problems, and Ms. Ballard will go over those with you guys as well.